Ba-da-ba-ba-boo. You're watching Oatmeal News with your host, Oatmeal. And the question of the day is InfoWars a cult? Is Alex Jones some kind of cult leader leading us down to the slaughter? Is all the things that he's talking about not true? Is he leading us astray? Is he some kind of opposition, controlled opposition thinking hopper? Is 5G not really a bad thing? Are the globalists just wanting to give us lollipops and stuff? Are vaccines not really that bad? Is Donald Trump trying to kill us too? Is he part of the psyop, part of the cult too? So if you don't know, I'm Oatmeal, and that's the question of the day that Mama Potato was asking in the info comms, and I wanted to respond with a couple different things. There's a couple different questions that we can talk about. There's a couple different questions you can ask first. I mean, you could talk about that. We can talk about that, and it wouldn't be the first time anybody has ever talked about that. And it's important to talk about things like, who is Alex Jones? Is he Bill Hicks? Is he this? Is he that? Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Is he a psyop like Q? Is Q something bad? And all those questions are really, really important to ask. However, there's a more important question, and that isn't InfoWars not about Alex Jones? Isn't InfoWars not about Donald Trump? Isn't the MAGA? Isn't the MAGA movement not about Donald Trump? He's the figurehead that is helping us in this kind of movement that's global and it's happening all around the world. You see what's happening in Brazil. You see what's happening in what are the other countries? Poland. There's stuff happening in Poland. Some places in Europe. And probably a bunch of other places that I'm forgetting them at the moment. In England with Tommy Robinson. There's all these different patriots, especially in America, that are standing up for what America is all about. 1776 Americana going against 1984. The big brother technocracy and tyranny and everything. Is that not a terrible thing that we're fighting against every day? On one hand, even if Alex Jones was a terrible cult leader, would that automatically undo all the terrible things that are happening in the world right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, does it even matter? I mean, obviously it doesn't matter to an extent, and we can talk about that. So if Alex Jones is guilty of some crimes, sign me up. I'm guilty too. But does that automatically undo the opposition? Just think about all the different things he's talked about in the last 20 years or more. And all the other people like Steve Quayle and all the other people that I can't think of right now, but I'm sure that I have bookmarks to them at the moment. But there is so much going on, so much good stuff happening. Like Info Moms, for example. Are you going to totally undo that just because of the InfoWars being a psyop? Being a terrible, terrible thing? Or how terrible is it? Is the question. But still, it's like, are you going to undo it just because of this? Whatever this is? This kind of problem? Or what? Because, it's not really about Alex Jones. It's not really about Donald Trump. It's not really about one person, right? I mean, right? I mean, what are we talking about? What is this debate? And this wasn't the first time anybody has ever asked this question. And people are jealous of him. People are trying to discredit him and destroy him and the revolution because they're trying to destroy we the people, by the people, for the people kind of thing. we got to do what we got to do because that's what oatmeal is all about, the eternal principles and stuff that we can be founded on, things that have been around for thousands of years, traditional values of family first values, community first values and everything, and your country first values. Alex Jones has done so much to help people, and you can talk about some of the bad things he might have done, some of the things he's been accused of. Like, is he what's that word? Embezzling money? Or what's that other word? Does he have too much money? Is having too much money a bad thing? Is he... I'm just trying to look at the forum. I'm looking at the message board right now. Community.infowars.com. And I'm looking at some of these videos, and they're coming from people who probably hate the guts of Alex Jones. And so obviously they're putting hit pieces against him. So it's like I'm a little bit speechless, and I'm a little bit inspired and a little bit irritated, but at the same time I know this is a pretty big issue for a lot of people. And then they go back to like Fox News, or they go back to the Democratic plantation, or wherever they're from. But like asking questions is a really, 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 really good thing, especially if it's the right question. So it's like, if you want to ask questions about Alex Jones and you want to try to get to the bottom of it, because you're not at the bottom yet. Even if you think you are, there is still a lot more out there. There's so much we don't know about everything. But, it's like, what is he being accused of? What is the crime of Alex Jones? When he talked about the gay frogs, is that not true? It's true. There is stuff being put in the water and is doing terrible things. When he talked about how they're attacking words, and they say things like, you can't say mother or father. That's one of my go-to things that I like to just say again and again, because it's terrible to say something like that, but they're doing things like that. And so, Alex Jones is not the only person that's talking about these things, and he's not the only person that's making some money, but then he puts the money back into InfoWars, and then he has to have a lot of money for emergencies, for all the different things that are happening. It could be like, he has to go to court because people are suing him all the time, and he's trying to expand, and it costs a lot of money to run InfoWars, just the studios, and then you have the store, and that costs even more. So we're talking about millions and millions of dollars, possibly more than $10 million a year. And then it's expanding. It's been expanding a lot in the past few years. So it's like, if you know a lot about business, you would understand that you gotta save a lot of money. You gotta save millions and millions and millions of dollars. And a lot of things fluctuates up and down all the time when you're doing business, especially if you are expanding and you have a lot of sales, at the store, and you're barely getting by. You have to save a lot of money. But that's not really a bad thing, so why would anybody say, hey, he has a lot of money? He has too much money. How much money is too much money? And, we could talk about the money thing, but beyond that, what else would you want to talk about? You want to talk about anything that he might have said? The biggest thing that people go back to, is Sandy Hook. And he has had a lot of people over talking about Sandy Hook. He has interviewed people who have said different things, and he has played devil's advocate, you know, and it's really difficult to say exactly what happened. And you can say, well, maybe it was a little fake, or maybe not a little fake, but it might have been a combination of different things at the same time, because life is not one thing or another, and a lot of different things, a lot of different situations. So, you know, like something like Sandy Hook, obviously a lot of different things are happening at the same time. But that doesn't mean that people didn't die. There may have been some actors involved, and some of the people may have died. Some of the people may have been injured. And the same thing goes with all the other stuff. And we could talk forever about all these different things, but like every day they're putting out articles against Alex Jones because he is awakening people and red pilling people and all this kind of stuff, and it's not really about us. And what am I here to say? Is anybody watching this? I'm Oatmeal, and I just feel like hypothetically, if he was a terrible person, it wouldn't even matter. Because what he's saying is true, even if he wasn't, hypothetically speaking, theoretically speaking, it doesn't matter how bad he might have been, or is, and he's not, but even if he was, it's like, does it undo the crimes of the deep state, the swamp, the globalists, the technocrats, all those other different people, the different departments of the globalists? It's terrible. It's terrible. It's like, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible that we have to even talk about this, but it's not terrible that we're talking about this. It's terrible that some of us are not getting involved enough. I'm not necessarily pointing my finger at anybody particular, but I am saying that we can always do more. And we got to look past some things because we're missing the point. I mean, it's like you might see a problem, but that's not really the problem at all. It's kind of hard to explain if you don't know what I'm saying. But I'm making this video right now to encourage anybody who knows what's up. I'm thinking of writing some songs. Today I was thinking of writing a song about singing a song. I'm thinking about singing a song about the globalists are coming to town instead of Santa Claus. And they know. Maybe it should be Google. Google is coming to town. They know when you're sleeping. They know when you're awake. They know if you've been good or bad. So be good for goodness sake, because they're Google or they're Facebook or they're Amazon. Fill in the blank. That's what we got to talk about. Because that's what's already here. Globalists are coming to town. Globalists are coming to town. Oh. They're coming to town. Actually, no. They're not coming to town. They're already here. In so many ways, they want to be here even more at a greater level. And that's what we got to talk about, and we got to have hope. Or what's the point? If there's no hope in making the world better, then what are we doing? Are we the InfoWars? Are we Alex Jones or not? And when I say Alex Jones, I don't mean literally him. It's symbolic. It's illustrative. It doesn't matter if he is whatever you think he is or not. It doesn't really matter. It does in a way, but not in another way. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of deep that way. Oh man, that's so deep. But it's really deep. But it's kind of philosophical, which is very necessary for redeveloping Western civilization, which is being destroyed by Islam and China, and globalists and technocrats. They're kind of like cats, but they're crats because they're dumb. What's the word? Dumb, really? Democrats. Not Democrats, but Democrats. What am I saying? I'm oatmeal. What do I know? I know that we live in an incredible time with a lot of good and bad stuff happening at the same time. So pick your side now before it's too late. Things can get worse and worse and better at the same time. So pick your side, and while you're at it, pick the winning side. The winning side is the side that wants to free humanity from technocrats. And that's kind of tricky to talk about because there is still another problem. Because once you get rid of the globalists, you still have a bunch of other problems too. But if I had to pick between the problem that we have and the problem we could have later, I would rather go with the problem later. Not later as in later, but later as in the other problem. The latter problem, the second problem. The first problem that we got is globalists and all the different factions of the globalists, all the different groups and everything that are working together, pretending to work together and everything. And that's a big problem, and we already know that problem. The other problem that we have, hypothetically, which we may never have totally, but we're trying to go away from the globalists, destroy the globalists, destroy them, diminish them. And then when we go away from them, then our problem is more ourselves kind of thing. It could be a little bit of anarchy, and it could be a little bit of like socialism kind of stuff. And all this stuff, like because there are people out there that are fighting against the globalists, or they say they are, and they promote this idea of like Star Trek future, some kind of Star Trek future where we could have a utopia. We don't need borders. No borders, no walls, no USSR. Wait, no. USA at all. No USA at all. There are people that are promoting these kinds of things, a utopia, an anarchy kind of thing. And on the surface, it sounds kind of good. But that's a problem too. That's the second problem I'm trying to talk about. And that's the problem that we have to deal with at the same time that we're dealing with the globalists, because that problem is happening too. And that's the other side, but we don't want to be there either. In a sense, we don't want to be there. It's not that we don't want that. It's just that it's not really possible, right? You think it's possible? It's not really. I don't think it's possible for us to work together in a socialism kind of way, because that's kind of what it's all about. People are talking about how we just need to redistribute the Obama wealth. I mean, Obama talked about it. It's a Robin Hood idea, and a Robin Hood idea where we just spread the wealth and we're responsible, and it's just basically it's like socialism or communism. It's all those kinds of ideas. And people have been talking about those kinds of things. And there's different words they use to describe it and to disguise it. But a lot of those types of people will claim that they're fighting against the globalists too. So it's like we're fighting against the globalists, And then you have those other people, the second problem, and we're not on their side either, but they're fighting the globalists too. So it's like it appears that we're on that side, and actually globalists are kind of on the other side too, because once the socialism rises, then you have the globalists on top of socialism taking all the money and stuff, saying things like we're all equal, we're all the same except for us, and we take all your money and stuff, and we want to totally destroy humanity with Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, keep people in the bigger cities with the smart cities, smart cars, smart houses, smart grids, smartphones, smart this, smart that, smart people, not so smart people. It's terrifying to talk about all this kind of stuff, all of this. It's really hard to talk about to people who don't already know about it. So I listen to Lionel Nation, Lionel Media. I listen to him like every day. He does 2 live streams every day. I learn a lot about him. What I learn about him is interesting. What I learned from him is about how do you talk to people who don't know this stuff? How do you transition them towards talking about a lot of this stuff? And it could be very difficult, but still, it's important to talk about and think about. And you gotta have hope over dope. You gotta believe that it's possible. I believe it, but if you don't, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you gotta decide: is this worth your fight? Do you believe that things can get better before they get worse again, kind of thing? What do you believe? I believe that I'm gonna try my best to make things better, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna do whatever I can to make the world better, even if things got worse later on. I don't want to just do nothing just because people are saying, well, it's the end of the world because of what it says in Revelations, because of this thing or that thing, fill in the blank. A lot of things are happening, and there's so much opportunity. So don't waste it. Don't miss out on this opportunity. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that has never happened. It's never happened. This has never happened before, ever, in the history of mankind. I cannot overestimate or overstate that statement. I can't overstate that statement because it's so big. It's so big. That's why you have people like Alex Jones getting so emotional. It's not that he's losing his emotions. He's trying to let you know what's going on after he's done the research of all the stuff that they've been doing to take control of humanity. The globalists have been doing this, and they've been trying to do this for so long, and it's terrifying. But specifically, it's like, what else can I say? I have to say that, again, this video is about Alex Jones. And I just wanted to respond really quickly. But you know me, I like to ramble like a rambling rod. I'm a rambling rod. And I just wanted to say that there's a couple different questions. That's what I tried to say. I tried to say that at the beginning of this video. There's a couple different questions that are there. in that statement, in the question about Alex Jones, who is he, what is he all about? And we could talk about him as a person, or you can talk about the movement of Alex Jones. We Are Alex Jones and InfoWars and the MAGA movement and all that kind of stuff. And that's a whole lot bigger than one person. And it doesn't matter what person we're talking about. It's bigger. And we could talk about whether or not that's a cult or not. But now we're just dealing with words and what words mean. And we could talk about that too. And that's important because now we're dealing with, what does cult mean? Is a cult a good thing or a bad thing? But it really depends on what is a cult. It depends on your definition of cult. And different people have different definitions for religion and cult and all these kinds of things when we talk about this. And it's like, it's like we're missing the point if we dive into it. It's not that it's not important to talk about. It's that we're looking at this, but we're not looking from an eternal perspective. We're not looking at what is really going on, because we're getting lost in these words. You know, these words that are being weaponized to stop us from doing what we're meant to do. You know, it's like you can either think that a cult is a good thing or a bad thing. And based off that, you can say Alex Jones is a cult or not a cult based on that. If Alex Jones is a cult, then what does that mean? It would mean that the Alex Jones cult has helped get Donald Trump elected. And that was the number one thing that got Donald Trump elected, was a lot of people that were watching InfoWars, they went and they voted for Donald Trump. So that would mean that Donald Trump is a cult by extension. So then the next question would be, is Donald Trump a bad person? Is he a bad president? And then you have to look at all the different things he's doing, all the things that Donald Trump is trying to do. Lowering taxes. So is that a cult? Lowering taxes and lowering regulations and trying to build a wall and trying to bring back thousands of jobs and factories and doing a little bit in prison reform and health reform, trying to get rid of the Obamacare, and dealing with programs helping with jobs, getting people working again, especially former prison mates. That's part of the prison reform, getting people back into the workforce. And all of these things, you can look at all these different things that Donald Trump is doing, and we may not know everything he's doing, both good and bad. And when I say bad, I mean it's like his administration, which is mostly the swamp. But is that the psyop? Is that the cult? Because if Alex Jones is a cult, why did he help Donald Trump? Maybe Donald Trump is a cult too. So we can look at that, and we can look at all the different things that are connected to Alex Jones. And if Alex Jones is a bad thing to any degree or to any level, it's obviously we're all a little bit bad at the same time, and we're good and bad, you know, obviously. But for the most part, it's like Alex Jones is helping people in so many ways. But you can look at all the different things that he's connected to, and then you can ask the question, is that bad too because it's connected to Alex Jones? I kind of got that idea from a video from PewDiePie, because they've been trying to turn him into a terrible person by saying that he's a terrible person because he mentioned somebody in his video out of like 20 or 30 different people that he mentioned in a video just saying, "Oh, look, that's funny or that's interesting," and then they found something bad from that one of the persons that he mentions. He gave a shout out. You know that guy PewDiePie, and he talks about video games and Dr. Phil and pop culture, and he made his own video version of the YouTube Rewind 2018, which is a whole lot better. And you can learn a lot from him, and that's really, really good. But then the dinosaur media, they try to destroy him. So who is watching dinosaur media? The simple answer is other dinosaurs, old people, other dinosaurs. And anyways, I just wanted to say that I probably should have made this video as just like 10 seconds. Maybe I should just make another video. And maybe I should sing a little bit, but maybe not, because my throat is a little dry. If I had a voice, if I had a great voice, that'd be wonderful. If I was talking all day like Alex Jones, yeah, I'd probably have a raspy voice too. Oh man. My last name was Rasp. No. My dad's last name was Rasp. But then he was adopted into the Arnold family. So, I don't know so much about the last name Rasp, but having a raspy voice is, kind of comes with the business, kind of comes with the job of waking people up. If you're waking people up, whether or not that's a cult, you're still waking people up. I just wanted to say, hey, there's a difference between Alex and the revolution of going against the globalists and everything that's happening all around the world at the moment is happening. It's big. It's very big. And the revolution that goes against the globalists are mixed with a bunch of different kinds of groups. So it's not easy to do, because then you have to fight amongst yourself at the same time that you're fighting the globalists, which is very difficult to do. You got to do a little bit of multitasking, but it's like we can always do better, and that's what we got to do. We can always do better, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. We can always do better. So this is my video response. Let's see. Let me see. Should I do a little bit of show you what's on my screen? That's on my screen. Can you see that? Maybe not. Maybe it's a little blurry. What am I doing? What am I doing? I have OBS, but I'm not using OBS right now because I've been having some issues with it. But that's life, right? That's what life is all about. So having issues but overcoming them. I just wanted to say, wow, 30 minutes. Oh, jeez. Been talking for 30 minutes. Where has the time gone? I'm going to end the video by saying we can do better. There's a difference between Alex and the Alex Jones movement, and it's going to continue even if they kill Alex Jones. And if Alex was some kind of cult, they wouldn't remove him off YouTube. Do they kick cult leaders off YouTube? No, not really. They don't do that. Huh. They don't do that. They don't do that. There's a reason for that. If you're not really the opposition, they leave you alone because you're helping the globalists. That's why they leave Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson alone, because they're part of the globalists. Possibly. I don't really know that, but it seems to be the case to some extent. or something. So, that's all I gotta say. Until next time, eat some oatmeal. Eat some oatmeal.